Hello and welcome back to Ninetale Hobbies. Well, it's been a year since I first picked up the brush. Last time this year, I had decided that I was gonna try my hand at mini painting, and here we are. So I'd like to talk about the things I've learned, some of the common misconceptions I've run across, equipment I've found essential, and some of that I've found superfluous. So let's get going. Number one, there is no magic equipment. There is no combination of brush, paint, wet palette, dry palette, lighting that's just going to miraculously make you an amazing painter. There's no substitute for the time that you spend putting your brush on a mini, no matter how good your equipment is. I've noticed that a lot of people are like, what is this combination that you use so I can have it as well? And while equipment can definitely be helpful, like I said before, there's no substitute for the time you put in. B, quality minis. I started off with the little D&D and Reaper and everything, and while those are fine, they are not going to do any favors for your paint job. You can sit there and clean mold lines and make it the best looking mini that you possibly can, but if the sculpt itself is not quality, it's not going to do your paint job any favors. And that's not to say that there can't be cool paint jobs on these minis. I've definitely seen that. But a nice quality mini is going to show off your paint job better because the details are going to be crisper and just all around better. Number 3, brush control. Brush control is something that not a lot of people talk about, but I have found to be one of the most, if not the most important things when painting a mini. If you can't get your brush to do what you want, then you're not going to be able to generate the effect that you need. Especially with feathering, wet blending, things like that. You've got to have that brush control. D4, try new things. Mistakes will be made, like changing your camera that you're filming with halfway through painting a mini, but that teaches you something. If you never try a new thing because you're afraid that you're going to mess up your mini, this is paint on plastic. You can strip it or repaint over it, and all it's going to cost you is a little bit of time. Because if you never try a new technique on your minis, then you'll never be able to do that new technique that you think is super cool. 5, personal preference. This is style, paints, minis, what have you. And, be it Grimdark or Cell Style, Vallejo, GW, whatever. Personal preference can fall into a lot of different categories. Not only what you like, but the way you thin your paints, or don't thin your paints, or the minis you like to paint. They can all influence, and that does not mean that your personal preference is wrong. I really enjoy Vallejo paints because of the way I paint, the way I like to thin and everything. But I also like certain colors of GW. Each brand has its pros and cons, and that doesn't make them better than the others. Number 6, game changers. The big game changers for me, especially after I had kind of figured out how to be more delicate, be more precise, was getting a new brush. This is not something that you need to do right away, because if you get a Kolinsky Sable, whatever brand it is, and you've just started, you're probably going to ruin it pretty quickly. But I would say that this is the first upgrade in gear that people should do. Get you a nice brush. I got the Monument Hobby Igniter set, and after I lay down the base coat with my general brush, I could paint an entire thing with a 2 or a 3. You gotta have that razor tip, that holds a decent amount of paint. You don't need this tiny little 000 brush to get in there and do details. As long as your brush has a nice tip, you're good. Lighting is important. Save your eyes. You can pick up all kinds of detail if you have nice lighting. Get something that leans towards the blue. You don't want anything warm, because it's not going to do you any favors on getting your colors right. You get those occasional paints every now and then, be it from different companies or something. This goes back to the try new things. Try new paints, because I'd never tried P3 before, got their Bastion Gray, and I absolutely love it. It was one of those happy accidents of buying that changed. It was that magic paint color that I was looking for. And the last piece of advice, the last piece of game changers that I would recommend: get involved with a community. Talking to other painters, being involved with other painters can help you get better in leaps and bounds. They can critique your work, you can help critique theirs, get tips, get tricks, and there's all kinds of people out there that want to share the information that they have. So that's what I learned in the first year of painting. I've learned a lot. I have so much more that I need to learn, but I'm giving it a try. And if you want to see me paint live, I've gone over to Twitch. I'm starting to go Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. I'll have to skip the occasional ones, but same name, Ninetale Hobbies. Thanks for hanging around, sticking around, and I'll catch you on the next one.